Good day, ma'am. So I have decided to make a discussion or narration on my output for preliminary examination on pre-colonial culture. So my discussion or narration would focus on the beliefs, the clothing, the shelters, and the people on pre-colonial in my output for preliminary examination. So for me, this is the best way and a creative way of delivering my output, for I am not good in singing, acting, dancing, anything that requires skills is I am not confident about it. So I rather made a discussion than than dancing or acting or singing and the like. So to start with, let us first define a pre-colonial. So when we say pre-colonial, it is the period where we are not yet colonized by different country. Those countrymen such as Spaniards, Americans, Japanese, and the like. So in my discussion, in my first discussion, I would focus on the beliefs of the Filipinos on pre-colonial. The people on pre-colonial period. The Negritos were the early settlers here in the Philippines. By 1000 BC, the inhabitants of the Philippine archipelago had developed into four distinct kinds of peoples. So during the pre-colonial time, there was already an indigenous spiritual beliefs practiced by the people here in the Philippines. They were prescribed as animistic or animism. So before there was an spiritual traditions already practiced by the Filipinos, and it is known as animistic or animism. They have also specific deities before. Here are some famous deities that they worship before, such Idyalaw, the god of farming, Sidapa, the god of death, and Agni, the god of fire, and many more. Then some also worship trees, moon, stars, rivers, and even creature. They do worship creatures too, like birds, crow. They believe that these creatures have value to them and somewhat connected to their lives. They express their worship through magic. When we say magic, it is the one who is being performed by shaman or babaylan. That is an example of magic. Then they also express worship through chants. They provide some music and dancing when we say chants. And also, they also express worship through prayer. So these spirits were said to be anito or diwata, that they believe to be good and bad. So according to them, there is a good diwata and a bad diwata also. Some worship also they call is bathala. So during the worship before, the babaylan is responsible to perform ritual. So when we say babaylan, it is intended for a female only. We cannot find a boy that is performing a ritual because according to them, the babaylan is the only one who can perform a ritual. And the babaylan is intended for a female or a girl. During the ritual, they also provide a sacrifice and offering. Sometimes they kill a cow or chicken to be their sacrifice and offer their harvested crops or fruits or vegetables as their offerings. They have also specific deities before. Here are some famous deities that they worship before, such Idyalaw, the god of farming, Sidapa, the god of death, and Agni, the god of fire, and many more. Then some also worship trees, moon, stars, rivers, and even creature. They do worship creatures too, like birds, crow. They believe that these creatures have value to them and somewhat connected to their lives. They express their worship through magic. When we say magic, it is the one who is being performed by shaman or babaylan. That is an example of magic. Then, they also express worship through chants. They provide some music and dancing when we say chants. And also, they also express worship through prayer. So moving on pre-colonial houses. Some example of pre-colonial houses includes bahay kubo, which is made from bamboos and nipa as their roof. We can also, even today, we can still find a native houses made from bamboos and nipa. And another is treetop houses and boat houses. It is also included on pre-colonial houses. And another is that the cave. The cave is an example of shelter. A cave is served as a shelter before on pre-colonial. The people on pre-colonial period. The Negritos were the early settlers here in the Philippines. By 1000 BC, the inhabitants of the Philippine archipelago had developed into 4 distinct kinds of peoples. These people includes tribal groups such as, this includes Aitas, Mangyan, Ilonggos, and Hanunoo. These tribal groups are developed on hunting animals and were concentrated on the forest. I remember during my elementary days in the subject of Hekasi that it is mentioned there that Aitas were one of the first tribal groups formed here in the Philippines. As I recall, they use bangkaw as their main weapon to hunt animals. It is made from a long wooden stick, and in the bottom on that stick, it has we can find a thin stone that is thick to it, and that is what we call bangkaw.